2005, we had the biggest ever claims, which were Katrina, Rita, and Wilma. Those claims today, I think we've totted them all up, probably come to about $12 or $13 billion to the Lloyd's market alone. And at the end of that year, the Lloyd's market lost $150 million. And I remember going on BBC that morning, we announced our results, and your equivalent then said to me, well, you must be pretty worried, you lost $150 million. I said, no, I think it's one of our best years ever, actually. It was brilliant. And he said, why? And I said, I'm sorry, you wouldn't understand.
That would be my equivalent, yeah.
But since then, it's been in very good shape. 2 years ago, we had our best ever year in our history. Last year, we had a pretty good year. This year will be a very tough year because of what's happened.
You talk in the results of Chile, New Zealand earthquakes, floods in Australia, Deepwater Horizon.
An earthquake in Japan, tsunami and tornadoes in... Yeah. But that's what we're there for. A few years ago, our annual report, we had a strapline on the cover, which I always thought was very good. And it just said this, it said, Lloyd's, where the world takes its risks. And I remember when I first started at Lloyd's, and it was just after 9/11, going to New Zealand, of all places. And they said to me, look, the rates for insurance have gone up everywhere. And it's all because of this terrorism. We don't have any terrorists in New Zealand. They'd never be able to get here. They wouldn't even know where it was. So why do we have to pay for it? And I said, you're right. But you have, and I'm afraid prophetically I was right, you have a very, very severe earthquake risk in New Zealand, which we don't actually have in Berkshire. So your earthquake risk is offset against our terrorism risk. And if you come further down the line, why do you insure your car? Well, you have to, but you insure your car because if everybody insures their cars, the likelihood of them all being smashed up at the same time is nil. And, we have actuaries who work all this stuff out. And so when you have earthquakes in New Zealand, floods in Australia, tornadoes in the United States, it's offset against other business. Now, that is the norm, and that more or less is what happens. Sometimes you get a few of these things all happening at the same time, which is what's happened this year. But, we've made very good money in the past, and I always say when I'm speaking, you want to make sure that we make good profits every year. Because, you may say, I don't like the cost of my insurance this year. But, if your house catches fire or your car's written off in a crash, you actually want to get a check straight away. And you mentioned the Deepwater Horizon oil rig. Mm-hmm. Now, we, fortunately, did not insure BP against the cleanup. In fact, BP have had a policy for years that they self-insure, which was actually probably a pretty intelligent thing to do. But the oil rig itself did not belong to BP. We insured the oil rig itself, or we insured about 60% of it. And when the oil rig went down, and then there was nothing to argue about. One day it was there, the next day it was gone. So 10 days later, the owners had a check. And we have a very simple philosophy at Lloyd's, which is we insure people against the risks that they may face. And if they happen, we write them out a check. That's it. Straightforward.